little run through of what we've got. We've got Ed down there. Where's Ed gone? Here he is, there's Ed. Ed is doing some amazing patching with visual synthesis. And he's plugged into the monitor, so all of that stuff that this amazing rack of fantastic stuff is creating what you can see on there. And over here we have got Josh doing visuals from Touch Viz. So that's the visual side of stuff. And so we're kind of up here, I've got my MIDI clock and stuff in the mixing desk behind here. You can't see it, unfortunately. We've got a special guest. So we'll talk a bit about Bloopers, the Bloop group later on, but because it's got a kind of a bigger picture of what's been happening with what we do and how it sort of has spread a little bit, and then how it's spreading from there onwards over in Dublin, which is really great. So yeah, where do we start? We're going to get some sounds and then I'm going to talk some more. So let's get something working. We'll do something in a Cape D, and then we're just going to kind of make that work for a bit, and then we're going to stop and we're going to talk about what we're doing. So maybe we can get some people in, we can get some sounds going, and then another stop, and we're going to start using the dice and our special system to decide what we're going to play to the best of our ability. Okay, so let's do a little drone sound sort of type thing, sort of textured sort of beginning, and then we can go from there. So here we go. stop there because we've got everything working. So welcome everyone. Bleep Klub is about a sort of space where people can come and play and bring their hardware or door or whatever they've got that you want to bring to make some sounds, and also do some visuals too. We meet once a month in Strange Brew. We started off. I'm going to backtrack. So hello Henry, how are you doing? So I'm going to backtrack a little bit. Basically how Bleep Klub started was that I approached a little community hall near us, well, quite a big community hall, and it was like, hang on, this bass is throbbing away, let me just turn it there, there we go. Anyway, so yeah, we approached this hall, I'm going to move from the side of my case so you can see me. And so what happened was, I said to the guy that ran it, I said, can we just turn off and make some weird noises? And he was sort of like, yeah, okay, that sounds good. And luckily I knew the guy a little bit, I'd done some stuff there before. And so we just kind of like, I made a social media page for it and just did a video with a really shitty £10 laser shining into my cheap horrible phone, and I just smoke and some bleepy weird sounds. And then before I knew it, about 10 people turned up. And then it sort of built from there, and loads of people sort of heard about it, and it kind of just grew. And so that was 2 years ago. And I just turned up with a mixer, and there's already a sound system there, which is quite a good one as well. And it's an amazing space, we had a really high ceiling for projections and stuff. And it kind of grew from that really, and people just like told their mates and came along, and then we just kind of organically, I don't really like to use that word, it's a bit overused, but just people just sort of like found their way, and they found us, and they just sort of turn up and join in. And the way we began was that we just plug in and make some noises, and then we sort of just started to fine-tune it a little bit and sync up, and then start working with keys and textures and different sounds, and because different people bring different things, and we've just assigned people different roles within that. So we can just kind of play together, and everybody gets to kind of get to be heard. So currently we meet at Strange Brew. Anybody go to Strange Brew? Strange Brew last night? Yeah? Excellent. So that's where we meet every month. Anything else I need to say about that? We just sort of like turn up really. It's open to anyone. And we sort of sync or you don't need to sync, and we sort of mess around with different tempos, which brings me onto a little system that we got inspired from. Gaz's night inspired me, and also Stuart Warren Hill came along with his Jenga. And so for the Rec Records night they have a bingo machine, and they can pull a number out to decide certain parameters and when people play and the combinations. But I thought about that, and then we thought about a dice. Someone suggested a dice, so we got this little dice system. So we got a different number to decide different parameters of where we're going to work. So so one throw is deciding the tempo. Another one is like choosing. So what we do to keep things easy in terms of musical sort of understanding is we used to use the white notes between various. So we use the modes. Okay, so like from D to D you've got Dorian. A to A, you'll get Aeolian, and so forth, and that kind of makes it a really simple system. So we use that as well as a way to decide what we're going to do. We're going to get a dice out so someone can help us out up here. So there we go. We've got other things too we can just kind of work with to help us decide how we're going to play. Or we just kind of go, let's just plug in and just make a noise. And so when we turn up at a Strange Brew, we sometimes break out into small groups, because we'll sometimes get up to like 15 or so people. We break up into smaller groups, or we'll split the table in half and then have a jam each side, because sometimes playing all together it's kind of quite full on and hard to manage with the mixing side of stuff. So that's kind of it really. Yeah, we've got a little thing here, you can go on a QR code and follow us and come along. So I don't know if you're interested in making sounds and turning up, it's the kind of thing that you might do. I know some of you have done before. Yeah, cool. So anyway, we'll just carry on and do a little kind of improv. I think the thing is as well about what we do, and like coming here this weekend, we were in this corner called the sort of Bristol Creative Platforms, we sort of named it, or Community Corner, whatever you want to call it. And we were like representing Real Place Synths, Bristol Lightsmiths, Escher, Bristol Techno Society, and Ambient Cafe that I don't know much about. But it struck me the importance of community and about the really importance of like the human connection and like we can look at YouTube videos and apps and shit and social media and feel like we're connected. But actually, the best way to connect is in human form, one-to-one. So that's just one thing I wanted to sort of say has been really good for us as a sort of coming together experience. But I think I should shut up and we should play some music. There's always a slight technical problem sometimes, so we're just hoping, Nicky, have you got something working there? Is that okay? You got some sounds? Okay, so pick it up. So we're sort of like to roll the dice, and it's going to help decide what we're going to do next. Yeah, nice one. Okay. I'm kind of hoping it's not 180, but that it is what it is, right? We're going to make it work. So we're just going to go with what you give us. So this is for tempo. 5 is 160. Nice. Okay, that's great. So roll it again, and that's going to decide the mode and the key. 4. So we've got Lydian in F. So Lydian in F to F. Okay, you're doing beats. That's good. So what I want to move forward to as well before we play is so. Quite a few people have come and have left, and we've got this constant flow of traffic of people who come and they join in and they go off and do their own thing. And a brilliant example, 2 really great examples of that was so Bristol Techno Society, they played last night and they met at Bleep Club. So that's like a nice little branch of coming out of Bleep Club doing their own thing. And last year I met Caroline and we were talking about, was it last year? Was it 2 years ago? It was last year. It was last, gosh, things happen so quickly. So, and out of that, Bloop group was born. So we've got the bloopers over there. Like, yes. And tell us a little bit about...
We're in Dublin.
Yeah.
Me and Gary made in response to Bleep, we were inspired. And we've just we're coming up in a year, we have a monthly meet. And Casey's one of our guys.
Yeah.
Woo!
So we've got a blooper amongst us, which is fantastic.
Thanks.
So, which is great. It's great to do that. So we're just going to start off and just do a 160 in F. Right. Okay. So behind here, I've got like a mixing desk, so everything's plugged into this. Everyone's synced together, apart from Josh. He's doing like drone stuff over here, and also doing the visuals too. So I'm just going to put the mic down, shut up, and we're just going to do F 160. Maybe we could do half time as well, just to kind of keep it interesting. Okay, 160 dialed in. Right, here we go. Let's see how that goes. And then we're going to roll the dice again, and you can decide what we're going to do. Right, here we go. Yeah, it could go any particular way, we never really know, and there's always a happy accident to be had, which is the beauty of improvising, and a beautiful thing about it, just coming together and making things work. So let's do another throw of the dice. If somebody wants to come and throw the dice and decide where we're going to go with the next piece of music. So we're going to start with the musical mode and key. So we're going to, do it again, we've had number 4. Oh, it really wants 4, doesn't it? 5, okay, we've got 5. We've got Aeolian G. Yes, no, well, unless you want to roll again for tempo. Okay, here we go. 130. I don't know, what do you think? 130? Are you alright with that on Sunday? I mean, yeah, we've got to obey the dice. Okay. Everyone okay? Not too hungover? Yeah, good, a little bit. That's good. That means something good's happening. That's great. Okay, so I'm going to just like reprogram everything here as well. So what I've got here is a drum machine and a bass machine essentially. Let's talk about what we've got. So because you can't see, it's nice because we're here to talk about knobs and stuff, aren't we? So I've got a TR-8S standard drum machine and a thing called a Arturia Mini Brute 2S, I think it is, which is like a sequencer and monophonic synth or duophonic synth. And Kate's got a modal cycles. Yeah, great. So that's making the filthy sounding drums, electron. Tell us what you got, Nick.
I got the Klub multi-poly, which is doing the strings and the harp stuff. I'm only using this like to control the patches for this track. I think you see this one. Yes. And then the black box is going to be running some bounce sound through the torso. Oh, controlled by the Oxy one.
Controlled by the Oxy one. Is it all working okay too? No, it's not working. Okay. What can you get? What do you think is going to work next? Not sure. Okay, that's cool. That's what we love about Bleep Club. So, Josh, do you want me to voice your voice, or do you want to voice your own voice?
Among friends.
He's among friends and with special interests.
That's so fun. Usually I'm just like, it's a drum box, but this is like a bunch of modules. But it's pretty simple. There's only a few oscillators, but there's like an instru oscillator, there's filters, and an LFO. It's very, very simple, but it drones. And some guitar pedals. So it's exciting for me. And these guys.
So, excellent. Sorry, I was sorting out a technical issue. So, yeah. It's filthy, your machine. It makes filthy, dirty noises, which is what we like on a Sunday. So, 130 and the key of Aeolian G. Right. Okay, we're just going to start something up here. Here we go. me this time. Oh, switch it off. Oh, there we go. It's good. It's my head on. Right. How's everyone doing out there? Okay? Yeah? Okay. So we've got the dice. We need to roll the dice to decide the tempo. This is Bleep Klub. We meet every month. Our next meeting on the 13th of October at Strange Brew. You can follow. Is there a thing still on there? Yeah, they can do the QR code thing. Brilliant. And we've got some amazing visuals. We've got Ed doing this. Look at this amazing synthesizer doing visuals. That is just like, look at the massive box. It's got to cart around everybody. It's huge. And he bought it with us today for nothing. Isn't that amazing? That's really good. I just want to make a shout out to the sound guys. Thanks guys for doing the sound. It's sounding lovely. This is a sweet, sweet sound system. It sounds really lovely. You've done a great job. The tent looks fantastic. Thank you. Really appreciate that. Give yourselves a round of applause. Go on, you deserve it. You deserve it. You absolutely. I've been watching. You're great. Anyway, enough of that rubbish pep talk. It's not going to work, is it? You can't convince you guys. We've got this amazing thing here. Look, it's an iPad app called TouchVis. Right? It costs 10 quid, and it does all of that. Isn't that great? Look at that. Although this is much better, obviously. You know, it's heavier. Yeah, it's heavier, but heavier in lots of different ways, right? It's heavy in all the ways you'd want it to be. So I've got the dice. That's what you're here for, Gary. Oh, you got your own. Okay. So anyway, just to say, anybody from who's the furthest away from here? I'm just trying to figure it out. Who thinks they might be really far from Bristol? Where are you from? Where? So, oh, okay. Anyone further away than Liverpool?
Ireland.
Ireland. Amazing. So what I wanted to do is try and find out the furthest person away, and so say because you don't, it doesn't really apply to you. Because I was thinking about if you're far away, have you got any stuff going on that's like this going on? Do you think you could set it up and like just find a random hall and get some speakers? Oh right, yeah. You know, we're quite old. We'll come along. Okay, trivial people, but you know, okay, alright. Well, that's it, you know. But you don't think they'll be into electronic music, is that what you're saying? Okay. I think what I was trying to come around to is like, you know, you can set this kind of stuff up. You just need some speakers in a space and you can just plug it in and then get going and then, you know, I think it's an important thing to do. We can all connect with our cables and our brains and our words and faces and conversations. Anyway, let's go on, I'm talking shit. Let's go on. So hang on a minute. So look, this is what the dice system is like this. Okay, number 1, it's drone. Yeah, on the dice. Number 2, it's 60 beats per minute. Number 3, it's 90. 4 is 130. 5, 160. Guess what 6 is? 180, that's right. So, we're going to go with the tempo. Gary's going to give it a roll. What have we got? We've had 160. I think if we've had it before, we'll do something else. Okay, 90. Good speed. Okay, so we're going to do another roll, and that's going to be for the mode and the key. So we've got a only in G. Let's do another one. We've done that one. We've had 4 too. Oh, 2. Okay, Dorian D minor, nice and sad. So we're going to be sad 90 beats per minute. So let's dial in something different, guys. Let's approach this. Let's do something just kind of. I don't know how we're going to do that. But we're just going to do that. So I'm going to dial in something different on my drum machine because the last patch is doing really weird things. Okay. Yeah, there we go. 90 beats per minute. Let's see what that does. So we're in 90 beats per minute, and the key was number 2. It was Dorian. So it's D, like from D to D. Anyone know about like modes? How modes work? So this is really amazing, right? This is a really, you know, you've got the keyboard, right? You've got the black notes and white notes. You start on D, and then go to D, and just play those notes. You have got the D Dorian, which is like A minor. And if you just kind of place your chords and notes around that and focus, keep going back to D and making sure that's kind of like part of your sort of like go-to note at times and express yourself around that, thinking that that's the tonal centre. That's the word I was trying to think of. So you can do that, and it's just the second note from it's the one after C. It's D. Dorian. Dorian is like a sort of minor sort of sound. Anyway, what I'm going to say, what I'm trying to say, is like using this kind of way of just working with modes. You can do all kinds of really cool stuff and just still stay on the white notes and still make really interesting, varied sounds. Look at that, that's brilliant. Oh, that's over there as well. That's cool. Okay, so I'm going to start. Press play. Okay. Great, that was random in D Dorian. Excellent. Okay, so what's that? Yeah, random Bleep. So we're Bleep Klub. If you just turned up, we meet once a month down at Strangeborough, Bristol. Started off as a small bunch of people, and it's kind of growing, and things are branching off what we do. We might do a gig one day. We did do a 303 day on the 3rd of March back in the day, long time ago in the hall. That was a lot of fun and confusing and strange as well. But that's alright, that's what life is altogether anyway. So let's have a tempo dice. Who would like to roll the dice for us now? We need someone to grab the dice. Roll the dice. Choose, it's time to take some risks. You get the little white plastic square and you throw it and then tell us a number. And it might be the wrong number, but we'll get it right eventually. Yes, can you tell me your name, please, sir? Sean. And Sean! I've met Sean, we met last night. This is Sean. Sean's going to roll the dice. Brilliant. 2. Oh, nice. 60. A nice way to end. We're going to end at 60 beats per minute. Okay, so the next one is going to be all about the mode and key. What's that? 4. Oh, yeah. Try again. We've had number 4. Steiner, somebody say. 6. Great. E flat. We're going to be in E flat. So like E flat pentatonic sort of. Yeah. Cool. Thank you very much. Nice one. Hey, Kate, you alright? Can you hear yourself? I'm now turning you off and okay, cool. Alright, nice. Just sort of make sure everyone's okay. Right, brilliant. Everyone out there okay? Yeah, so we're gonna go with what was it? E flat, 60. This is probably our final piece. So we'll get going. Yeah. What are you doing tonight? What's happening? Yeah. The Swan. Everyone goes to the Swan, don't they know? Is that right? The Swan, yeah. Okay. Brilliant. What about on this side, the quiet side? How's the quiet side doing? Brilliant, nice and quiet. That's what we want. Would be the quiet side if it wasn't quiet. That's absolutely, you carry on being quiet, it's the best thing. Right, anyway, 60 beats per minute. I'm going to just press play, and Katie, you're playing, so we're just going to start with you, and I'm going to fade other stuff up. Yeah, is that cool? There we go, starting now. You just got a kick, yeah. Am I pressing the right thing? There we go, nice. 60, that's a funny speed, isn't it? Oh, let me press the solo down. It's dark up here. Oh, that's better. Is it working? Oh, it is playing. You're not getting, oh yeah, you got something. Okay. I'll press something up here. Maybe I'll press that. Oh. Right, okay, 10 out of 10. There we go. That was something then, I could hear a little kick. There we go. Slow, isn't it? Whoa. Josh on the fancy sounds of small modular synthesizers and this fantastic TouchWiz app. You keep the back for every 10 minutes. I was Marcus, I was making some beats and some clock and some mixing. Here is Nick doing some amazing touches, and of course Katie too. So nice one. Come back again next time and check out Bleep Klub. You can follow us by doing something with this funny picture here. I don't know what you do. Anyway, you know what to do. It's been a great weekend. Thanks to the guys doing the same. Fantastic installation here, sounding fat as fuck. Nice one. Okay. Take care of yourselves and come to the environment, come and check us out. And just to say, thanks to all the amazing VJs who've been in as well this weekend. There's been some amazing visuals and it's been fantastic. So I feel sometimes that the VJs don't always get a big show. And VJing is something that we do a lot of at Bleep Klub. So if visuals is your thing, come and have a look. Buy an app, only £10. Anyway, nice one. Cheers.